Lovely to see those of you joining on the Zoom. Welcome. And also welcome to those joining on the YouTube live stream. I can't see you, but you're also welcome. So in this weekly half an hour together, I don't have actual dialogue, but I love to find some way to have a sense of who is here and how you're doing right now. And so perhaps before we start, it would be nice if you feel like just to put a word or two in the chat, just taking a moment to feel what is present for you. And if you feel to share in the chat, it would be lovely just to get a sense of what is moving through each one of us right now. So Nishkala here from Ithaca, New York. So good to see you, Unmani, and you. Yeah, you're welcome in your own time to write however you feel. Jean-Marc, tired and okay. Alex, I'm curious and a bit excited. Margot from Amsterdam, I feel fulfilled. Nicole, a bit sleepy. Lisa, happy to be here. Kati, anxiety. Yeah, it's all welcome, however we feel, right? Martin, Emma feels tender-hearted. Or maybe feels tender-hearted. Oh, hang on, you've gone. Everyone. There you go. I feel a bit uneasy. I've just read your, Annette, I've just read your beautiful newsletter and I'm deeply moved by the way you describe your mum's courageous life. Yeah, thank you. Stefan, relaxing tension in the throat as I'm want to do. I do 100 times each day for a couple of years. Christina, the joy of being alive. Vibhuti, lovely to be here with you. Feeling unwell in the body. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, if you feel to at any point to add more, you're welcome to. So, yeah, it's just really lovely to feel the humans that are here, that you're not just little boxes on a screen. Yeah, it is amazing that we can connect in this way when everyone's in different places in the world, in their little boxes, but at the same time, there's always a sense of some distance in this way of connecting. So in any way that we can cross these boundaries of apparent separation, I love to try. Yeah, so let's start by just taking a few moments to feel into how we are right now. So we can close our eyes and take a few deep breaths into the belly, the chest. Just feeling the sensation of sitting on this seat, the contact with the ground. And starting to notice what is here in your direct present experience. Whether there is a wave of strong sensation, whether there is something more subtle passing through. Just notice it, however it is for you. And if there are thoughts, we notice them too. We just don't give thoughts any extra meaning or value. Thoughts are just like another sensation, another phenomena arising and passing away, arising again and passing away. Nothing to do, just meeting what is here, just the way it is. Noticing, acknowledging whatever is here in our human experience. And as we notice this direct experience, we may have a sense of what is beyond that experience. Perhaps we sense it as stillness or peace, or just a sense of okayness. Or a watching, an awareness of whatever is happening in our human experience. And this awareness or peace, or whatever word works best for you, it is, in fact, always here, always present. It may not always be part of our experience. We may not always have that obvious sense of it. And yet, it is a thread, an unbroken thread, that in fact runs throughout our lives. experiences come and go in our lives as this human. Time passes. We are growing and developing and changing. And at the same time, this peace, this okayness, this awareness is simply here, unchanging, always. And when I speak about it now, I'm not suggesting you try to do anything. You can't become this or do this. But it is simply about resonating with what is being pointed to beyond all these words. In fact, it can't fit in words. And yet it is who you are. And we can again bring our attention to the sensation of sitting on this seat, taking a few deep breaths again. And then when you're ready, we can come back to the screen, open our eyes. I see Stefan wrote, I like these meetings. Yeah, me too. Yeah, so thank you for those of you who submitted some questions or themes for me to speak about. So one question was very much related to things that are going on in the world at the moment, and that is how to stay open in a world full of suffering. Yeah, it's not easy. What we tend to do when we hear all the terrible news in the media is that we tend to either have a reaction where we collapse into a sense of hopelessness or overwhelm. We take too much onto ourselves, too much responsibility or too much of a burden on ourselves, and then feel the helplessness of that, because there's also a sense of, I can't do so much, and yet a sense that I should somehow, or it is somehow up to me to change the world. Or we collapse into a kind of shutdown and we go numb, we pretend it's not happening. We perhaps use spirituality to call it all an illusion, to remain somehow detached, so that we protect ourselves from feeling the pain of what's happening. And both of these responses are very natural human responses to the pain, the heartbreak of what is happening in the world, what is happening around us, what is happening to nature, what is happening between people, between countries, between races, cultures. And there might be a lot of fear, there might be a lot of grief, and it's a lot to feel. So these responses are very natural human mechanisms to cope with these intense feelings. But when we notice that this is our response, we may come with some curiosity as to what I'm actually protecting myself from, or in what way am I identifying with someone who needs to do something. And we can just stay curious with that. And, real openness is not about doing anything necessarily, although you may be moved to take action. And if you are, you go for it. But being open means feeling it all. And it's a lot to feel. Staying on the edge of the walking the thin line on that razor's edge between these two reactions of collapse or shutdown, and noticing how the body responds, staying curious to what happens in the body when I watch on the media what's going on in the world. How does my body react? How does it feel in my chest, in my belly, in my throat? How is my breath? And being with those responses, holding this human in whatever you're experiencing. This is the openness. And this is also very courageous, to just stay present with whatever is here. And of course, we may not like it. I'm not suggesting that you just like everything that's happening. It doesn't fit into our ideas of how we would like life to be, or how we'd like the world to be. Of course, we'd prefer it to be much more peaceful and loving and kind and gentle, right? But this is the expression of life as it is. And this is what life is playing out right now, whether we like it or not. This is what is present and here to feel and to meet. And when we either over-identify with the one that has to do something about it, we might go down all kind of rabbit holes trying to find explanations and blame. And, this doesn't help anything, really. It is just simply another way of avoiding feeling. When we take a position saying, this side is wrong and this side is right, I know better and they're wrong out there. This is simply a way of avoiding feeling the heartbreak of what is happening. And when we just stay with what is, we embrace it and we let it break our heart. This is the openness to what is. And it comes in waves. Again and again, we have to meet what is here. And we might notice that we move in different ways to protect ourselves from feeling. And it's about staying really moment to moment with whatever our response is. And it might change moment to moment. Staying open to whatever is here. And like I said, if there is a movement to take action, let it come from that openness rather than a mental position or an agenda, some idea of I'm someone who needs to do something, or the opposite of some spiritual detachment. If there is a movement to take action, let it come from feeling everything. And out of feeling, you might notice that there's a feeling to move, to help the situation in some way. But perhaps it's not even about making big changes in the world, but it is about being open in your life, with the people around you, with yourself, noticing the violence and the aggression in your own experience, noticing how we play as if we are separate, projecting separation onto others and keeping ourselves protected behind a very safe wall of separation. And the more we meet ourselves in that and we see that those walls of separation are not true, the more there is more and more openness in the world. It's got to start with you, with me, with you, with each one of us, right? Meeting ourselves. Meeting the war in ourselves. Embracing that in ourselves. And knowing, of course, that the true peace is not in changing war into peace, but is in acknowledging the peace that is always here, even if there is war or anything else that's happening in the world or in our experience. This peace is unchanging. So, yeah, I just read out from Alex. Says it seems that experiences are somehow manifestations flowing out of the nothing, as if they are not apart from it. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying in a way, that this war, even in fact everything, is an expression of who we are as that nothing. It is everything without exception, even if we don't like certain parts of it. It's not up to us to separate out parts of life. Everything is an expression of life itself. And it's not always easy or comfortable. Yeah. And yeah, we've just got a couple of minutes left, so I'd love to hear if anyone wants to share how you are now after our half an hour together, if you feel like writing something in the chat, kind of before and after. Nicole, right? Thank you. And I know that there were many other questions and sharing in the when you registered, and I'll try to get to them in the upcoming meetings. Yeah, Nicole, I feel an immense love now. Kati, more with my feelings. Martin, centered. Alex, moved. Patrick, more aware and open. Thank you. Christina, open. Ishkala, a namaste and a heart. Annette, so grateful and deeply moved. Thank you. Lisa, integrated. Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you very much, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and see you this same time next week. You can use the same link again. Thank you very much, everyone. Lots of love.